In the 19th century, one man fresh from conquering the Suez promised the world another miracle, a canal that would unite the two great oceans. But the jungles of Panama weren't the deserts of Egypt. They held a secret far deadlier than sand or stone. The enemy was not the mountain, it was the mosquito. Yellow fever and malaria decimated the workforce. 22,000 men died, a river of graves for a river of water. Their mighty machines, the pride of French engineering, were swallowed by the jungle, rusting monuments to a failed dream. It was the biggest financial collapse of the century, a project drowned in mud, disease, and corruption. The French dream was dead. The canal was a graveyard, an impossible, cursed project. But across the ocean, a new rising empire saw an opportunity. If you're ready to discover how this impossible failure was turned into the greatest engineering feat in history, subscribe now. The American Crusade begins. Where the French saw a graveyard of dreams, the new power of the 20th century, America, saw an opportunity. And its leader, Theodore Roosevelt, was a man of unstoppable will. With a combination of political pressure and military might, he orchestrated the independence of Panama, creating a new nation that would immediately serve America's interests. The treaty was signed. America now had control of a 10-mile-wide strip of land across the isthmus, the Canal Zone, a sovereign piece of the United States in the heart of the jungle. But when the first American engineers arrived, they were greeted by the ghosts of the French failure. A landscape of rusting machinery and forgotten graves. A new kind of leader was needed. John Stevens, a tough, pragmatic railroad builder, was put in charge. And his first official act was shocking. He ordered all excavation to stop. Stevens understood what the French had not. The enemy was not the mountain. They had to win the war. And before the war, the man for that job was Dr. William Gorgas. Armed with an almost unlimited budget, he was made the general of a sanitary crusade. He declared war, not on a nation, but on a species. An army of 4,000 men was mobilized with a single mission: to eradicate the mosquito from the Canal Zone. It was the largest public health campaign in human history. They drained every swamp, fumigated every home, cut back the jungle, letting in the cleansing sunlight. They waged a war of details, putting a thin layer of oil in every water barrel to kill the larvae, eliminating the enemy's breeding grounds one by one. Dr. Gorgas commanded his troops with military precision, turning a disease-ridden jungle into a meticulously controlled laboratory. Science, backed by American power and resources, was achieving the impossible. The invisible army that had defeated the French was being systematically annihilated. The results were nothing short of a miracle. In just over a year, yellow fever was completely eliminated from the Canal Zone. The death rate plummeted. They didn't just fight the jungle, they tamed it, building clean, safe American-style towns in the heart of paradise. For the first time, the workers were not just surviving, they were thriving. The terror was gone. Dr. Gorgas had won the war that truly mattered. He had made the impossible possible. And now, with the jungle tamed and the diseases conquered, Chief Engineer Stevens gave the order. The great steam shovels roared back to life. The real war, the war against the mountain itself, the battle for the Culebra Cut, could finally begin. With the war on disease won, the true war on the landscape began. At its heart was a 9-mile stretch of hell known as the Culebra Cut. Colossal steam shovels, giants of iron and smoke, tore into the mountain, biting away tons of earth with each relentless scoop. A complex web of railways, a marvel of logistics, snaked through the canyon, hauling away the debris on a scale never before seen. But the mountain fought back. Constant, terrifying landslides, triggered by the torrential tropical rains, would wipe out months of work in a single muddy instant. Chief Engineer John Stevens and his men were not just digging a ditch, they were battling a living, stubborn enemy that refused to be tamed. Day after day, they blasted the earth with dynamite, the force of the explosions echoing like the cannons of a great war. For 9 years, the work never stopped. An army of over 50,000 men working under the harshest conditions in a relentless 24-hour assault. They were carving the canyon by hand and by steam, a brutal scar on the face of the planet. And then after years of struggle, the breakthrough. The two great digging teams working from opposite directions were finally inside of each other. The mountain was nearly conquered, but cutting the mountain was only half the battle. They also had to build a staircase for ships. They began by constructing the largest earthen dam in the world. Behind it, the jungle drowned and the massive Gatun Lake was born, the largest artificial lake on Earth at the time. It would become the heart of the canal. And to lift the ships from the sea to this new lake, they built the canal's true marvel, the locks. Colossal concrete structures poured into place with unprecedented precision. It was a masterpiece of electrical and mechanical engineering, a system of gears and motors that worked with the precision of a Swiss watch. The great steel gates, each one a skyscraper laid on its side, were lowered into place, ready to hold back the power of the oceans. And when the water rushed in for the first time, the system worked flawlessly. Or they had built a river made of steel. But this triumph of engineering came at a terrible price. The war and disease had been won, but the war in the mountains still claimed its victims. Over 5,000 workers died during the American construction period, lost to dynamite accidents, railroad crashes, and the sheer brutality of the labor. Their sacrifice was the final unseen ingredient in this monumental creation. The engineering marvel was complete, paid for with treasure, sweat, and blood. After a decade of war against disease and mountains, the final moment had come. From the White House, President Roosevelt himself pressed a telegraph key, sending a signal that triggered the final explosion, blowing the last earthen dam and allowing the waters of the Atlantic and Pacific to finally meet. The great man-made canyon flooded, creating a continuous waterway across a continent. The 400-year-old dream was now a reality. On August 15, 1914, the world watched as the SS Ancon made the first official transit, a day of global celebration. The Great Locks, a staircase of water powered by electricity, lifted the massive ship with effortless grace, a perfect display of American ingenuity. The ship sailed through the Culebra Cut, the scar of the mountain now a triumphant passageway. Man had not just moved a mountain, he had tamed it. In an instant, the world shrank. The treacherous 8,000-mile journey around South America was replaced by a 50-mile shortcut. Global trade exploded. The speed of commerce and connection was revolutionized forever. And for America, it was the ultimate symbol of its arrival as a global superpower, a nation that now commanded 2 oceans. The canal was more than a waterway, it was a hinge upon which the entire world turned. The engineers and doctors, the unsung heroes of this epic, had achieved what was once thought impossible. The Panama Canal was declared one of the 7 wonders of the modern world, a testament to human ambition. Today, over a century later, the canal continues its work, a silent, powerful engine of the global economy. A clean, computerized marvel built upon a foundation of chaotic, steam-powered, brutal labor. And it stands as a monument to the thousands of forgotten workers who paid the ultimate price, their lives the true cost of this progress. It is a symbol of our greatest genius and our most ruthless ambition. It is a scar of creation, a river of concrete and steel that proves that with enough will and enough sacrifice, humanity can achieve anything it desires.